It's fucking funny, like for real. Alright, hold on.
Oh no, Rich. James is taking pretty good.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us and bearing with us for our quick little 10-minute pee break.
She asked why we take a break.
A couple of reasons. One,
To pee?
we always kind of have to pee a little bit, and then also there's some limitations to our social media accounts based off of our funding that we have to cut our IG live on a segmented basis.
Yeah, it's after an hour. In these streets just came on. Hey, you know what? We figured out how we can bring you guys on the podcast. You don't have to actually fly out here. We can go live with you on IG. So we're gonna have to contact you on that.
But on the real, if you want to fly out,
You can. I have an extra room.
LA's awesome most of the time.
Alright.
When there's no earthquakes. and-
Because you actually live in LA.
It's overrated.
You live in LA. That's
People
why.
need to stay the fuck out.
I'm not a big. I don't really.
Come visit.
I'm not we've talked about this before. Like, I'm not a city person. Like, I'm a country person. But LA's. I mean, it's nice being on the West Coast. There's absolutely everything pretty close by in California.
Yeah.
So
Yes, come to visit, buddy.
we got enough people here.
So, do you want to start with her question or?
Yeah. Let's start with Betty Girl's question, because if you're a guest on this show, first off, you have absolutely zero excuses when she drove 2 hours, one of our other guests drove 2 hours, and 90% of our listeners live within a 10-minute drive. So, yeah, y'all are lazy.
10-minute drive, 6-minute Uber, or $6 Uber.
Yeah. So, oftentimes, our guests, all handful of them that have been on the show,
We've actually had a pretty good amount of guests.
and a wide variety of them.
Yeah.
They've all been fun.
Some are
too.
wider than others.
Yeah, some are actually better than us. When you come on, a lot of times they have questions, and Betty Girl posed a question to us. What is that
Yeah.
question?
That was her cue. Alright, it starts again.
How do you guys feel about being asked out on a date by a girl?
I mean, it could happen more often.
But has it happened?
Yeah, I'm sure it has. I can't think of anybody in particular.
So she took you out, paid for everything?
Oh, no. They ask you on a date. They're just asking you out, and then
It's almost like like an Outlook calendar invite.
yeah, that's really what it is. And then you do like.
So you plan everything?
I mean, yeah, kind of. It's more like when you ask me that question, as far as like, are you okay with that or not? I was thinking like them just initiating the fact of like, hey, let's hang out like that, not actually you.
That's
The
how
girl-
I look at
the
it.
girl
Like if I
paying
ask
for
a
it?
guy out on a date, it's my date.
We're in Whittier, Santa Fe Springs.
I'm gonna take you out, wine and dine you,
69
get you
year.
liquored up, yeah, and take advantage.
I mean, you can't really take advantage, actually.
No, yeah, not to a guy.
Yeah.
At least not.
It's
Not any of these
more
guys.
wishful thinking.
Not any guy I know. I love it. My fiance hates it. Because, yeah, she gets real mad.
Not her more than ass.
Okay. Do you want to write it down?
No.
Okay.
It correlates with what you're saying.
I said that jokingly. Like I always say, you know, like, what do you do on a first date? Hide from my fiance and have a good time. I've
Reject
actually,
your phone calls.
I've never been asked out by a girl.
Actually, my second girlfriend
Asked you out first?
Yeah. She said you're gonna be mine. Is what she said actually.
Aww.
And then she got her. Bunch of
Dick.
times. Well, I said I'm paying for it. It's been like 10 years, girl. Relax.
Mr. Lucky over here, got girls clamoring for him. I have never been asked out by a girl. I don't think it would bother me. I'm a little bit old school in the fact that if
That's because you're a gentleman, Eric.
a girl did ask me out, it wouldn't bother me that she did, but I still think I would want to pay.
Yeah, same
Like,
thing.
and I don't know that it's like a macho thing. I just kind of feel like,
You're the man.
yeah, if
But some girls, like especially now, like this whole like feminist movement, like they're not about that. Like they don't want you to open the fucking door from them.
Oh, no.
They don't want you to open the like if you go into like a building, they don't want you to open
I
that
expect those.
door.
I
Yeah, I
expect
think
you
that's
to
like
open my car door. I expect you when we're walking down the street, you're going to be on the outside where the street is, on the
because
sidewalk.
if we get hit,
You're
gonna
going
get hit
first. Yes, you open my door, you pull on my chair. Yeah, be a gentleman.
The pull out the chair one I'm bad at. Everything else I think I'm okay with.
so, I look back at
I
like
forget about that.
what they used to do in like the 50s, and
And
it's
so
like,
you're jagging on the fucking ground.
yeah, and I just think like I don't know that that's the best
That's
idea.
Levi. I'm not gonna throw that jacket on the ground. How dare you?
I mean, I don't think it's the best idea to do that. Like, and then guys actually used to stand, like if a girl was having dinner and she had to get up and use
Yeah,
the
stand
powder
up.
room, they used to stand up as they left.
Yeah.
It's, to me, that still seems like a little weird nowadays. I get it. I don't think I would trip out if like a girl left and the guys at the table stood up as she left. I would certainly respect it, but that's not something that I consider myself like a true gentleman. I still, after 73 years of being with my fiance, I still open the door for her. Actually, we went
What
out
are you,
to-
fucking Captain America over here?
right? I'm glad you didn't say Thor. Thanks.
Yeah.
The other day we
I'm
went
just
out.
watching you.
I picked up my dad. It was my dad, my fiance, and I. I drove. My dad sat shotgun. I walked around and actually had to open the door for my fiance as she got in, and that was awkward because I didn't open the door for my dad. I figured I'm not getting any out of him. So
Sure.
it was kind of a weird thing. I've actually opened the door when she's driven. Like, because you know you're drunk and you're like, okay, go ahead and drive me home. But you still open the door and then you stumble your way around the back of the truck and get in. And I don't know, that's the way I am. But when it comes to like that first date, you can ask me out, but I still kind of feel awkward that I'm not paying for it.
For sure, the first couple times. I mean, obviously, you start dating somebody after a while. If she wants to like, even if I want to pay for this, you know, at some point I'm like, all right.
Yeah. I mean, even if on the
First,
first,
what does Kevin Hart say? Like, or my bank account, my
the way
checking
my
account,
bank account
yeah,
works is like all my money's in my. And even like, I guess on a first date, if you're
Yeah, I would-
you're doing drinks, and she's like, no, I got this round.
I will pay for.
Okay.
I'll pay for a round.
I'm okay
I
with
won't pay
that.
for
Yeah.
dinner. Like,
Fine.
if we go out and like I pay for dinner,
Yeah.
and then she's like, let me pay for the first round. She pays for the first two drinks,
Yeah.
and then after that I pay for the rest of the night. I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, especially if she's gonna be like, I got this. Like, I'm just gonna be like, all right, I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And
You
I
gotta
don't.
be this fucking aggressive in bed.
Hopefully, see, you're thinking already, and I'm like, hopefully this gets to bed. I think if it came up, she was like, no, I got this, and it really became an issue, like a talking point, like, okay, sure, no problem. I always look at it that on that first date, you should, as a guy, you should pay.
What's the earliest, as far as like, or how many dates you need to go on before it's okay for a guy to use a gift card?
You gotta be very comfortable. In order for you to use a gift card, you gotta be very comfortable.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with it. What's wrong with it? It's still money. You're still paying for it.
I don't know what's wrong with that, so I'm asking you.
I think
For a friend, I mean.
somebody asked about like a Groupon coupon.
Oh, Jim.
I
Your boy
think
Jim did.
I think a Groupon coupon is a little different though. Like to me,
Cause it's a discount. You're like,
well, it tells me that you thought about that date prior to going.
oh, I wouldn't think that at all. I would think that you're a cheap ass.
You would go cheap ass.
Yes, and that you got a discounted dinner or discounted whatever.
What if
Then you're sliding the Groupon.
Now, I'm not talking first.
what if you tell them
date.
up front though?
Oh,
Like,
okay, not for then if it's
No,
not
no,
first
no,
date,
no.
it's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm thinking. Let's
what
say
if-
third date.
Let's just say what's
Yeah,
first date
I mean
though?
you're comfy.
Well, even let's just say what's first date. Let's say, and I haven't done this. I'm asking for a friend. Let's say you were telling a friend like, look it, like, hey, I bought this Groupon, 2 months ago. It's for, I don't know, whatever, mimosas and like brunch on a fucking boat or whatever. It expires in a month.
Yeah, that's
Do
not
you
bad.
want to? Do you like? I need to use it. Do you want to go?
That's not bad.
Like, if you like explain it to
Yeah.
them, like, is that something that you'd be okay with?
I think I'd be okay with that.
See, and I'd be fine with it. I think it's interesting that like a lot of people will shuffle through Groupon, right?
Yeah. But I
And-
agree with Justina, not the first date.
And I think that
First date impressions, first impressions
yeah.
are everything. We just talked about the little boy who couldn't afford fucking seals.
Did you stop sex with them?
No. And you know what? I kind of got the gay vibe.
When you touch his dick in your heart, or is that what?
No, but you know, like I don't know. I just felt like he maybe was experimenting and wasn't too sure about himself. Just the way his mannerisms were and the way he kind
But
of.
you said he didn't open the door for you and stuff, right?
Do you see that in any of us?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm so glad.
Hey, right? So, I'm gonna throw a scenario out there, okay?
Yeah, we got some listeners, dude.
For, let's say we've been talking, just talking, we haven't gone out.
Oh, your girl just came on, so you know all the preferences.
So-
this is make believe, okay?
So, I took my fiance out, found a Groupon date that was wine and, like, drinks and painting,
Okay.
okay? I assumed that you could sign up for the painting class and just pay for it right away. But I've never seen it outside of Groupon,
Mhm.
okay? If you're talking with a guy and you guys are chatting it up for like a week or so, and then he finally asks you out, and it's really kind of the only way to find it. Hey, I know you mentioned that you were an artist in high school. This is what I found. It's through Groupon, but do you want to go paint and drink? Would you get a bad vibe from that?
I think if he brought it up like that, who's that?
That's Angie talking with my fiance,
Oh,
me.
Who's that? Just so you know, Angie, her name's Yvette too.
no, sorry. I think if he brought it up like that before the date and was kind of like prepping you for it, it's not that bad.
Okay.
But I think if you go out on a date, like if you go to a restaurant, he had a Groupon like in
And
his
you're like,
fucking
"Hey,
wallet,
I'm
and he's
taking
like,
you to
pulling
Benihana,
it-
but I got my birthday coupon.
he's like pulling it out.
That's
It's a
fucked
different
up.
story.
That's
It's a
fucked
different story.
Okay.
What's your go-to first date?
Dodge game.
What- Dodge game?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Though that's not where I took my fiance. Sorry, babe. And when I give advice, I always say go to a baseball game. First off,
It's so loud though.
not on like a Tuesday.
What is always loud at a baseball game?
Not through the. Okay, so I've been with my fiance for a few years and they've been good.
Yeah.
Through the lean years of
Oh,
the
when they were
Dodgers,
young.
like you could get cheap seats, but you can get seats.
You can get
There's
these
a-
on Groupon.
There's a start and there's an end to it. So if it's a fucked up date, you're hoping it's a quick game. If it's a great date, you're hoping for extra innings.
For a home run.
There's something that can be talked about, break the silence. There's alcohol. There's seats. It kind of works. And then if it's a shitty date, you're like, okay, ninth inning, yay, and then you're gone. Like, okay, I'll talk to you soon.
You chop them off.
And then if it's a
Get
good
your-
date,
About the fucking cart.
if it's a good date, you just keep going, find a bar, whatever. There's a truncated timetable where you can evaluate the date, extend if chosen to, end if not,
And then extend if chose to do.
right? And then, there's enough of a slowness to baseball where you can sit and have a conversation, have drinks, and feel the person out. Now that's a date like, I don't want to say a fucked up, let's go have drinks and smash date. That's like
That's true.
I kind of don't want to just drop my panties on the first date.
I guess I would prefer a Laker game instead of a dog game.
Okay, sorry.
It's cost more.
They're a lot more. A lot more. And they're a lot louder like that.
I like when like things like when they're interactive. I guess so maybe a baseball game is like similar to that, but like a piano bar
Okay.
or like
Like where I took my fiance for her birthday, right?
yeah, we usually have together though.
Okay, listen. I
It
just
doesn't count, dude.
I just talked
That
about
was a really
first
fun bar though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
really
it was fun.
Yeah, actually it was.
Yeah.
Until Marco took his shirt off, then I was over it.
That was rough. That was rough times. Not for that piano player.
So
though.
where's your go-to for your first date?
Golfing. Oh, no.
Golfing?
No, that's the second. No, that's something else.
I've-
That's something
I
else.
can't golf. My
I'm-
boots are like too big enough.
I believe. Let me try some. Let me see.
You know what? Get the putter. Go get your putter.
Rick, go grab the golf
Go
clubs.
get the putter.
I think now would be like somewhere like Ballast Point.
That's a good one.
Like I think it's like a nice view. You get a couple beers. They do serve food if you just want to eat.
So bougie now. Just kidding.
I mean, honestly, my go-to is taking them to gardens, but that's kind of watered down for multiple reasons.
And then gyms afterwards.
Yeah, if they really want to eat. Yeah, but I like taking, I like going to Boston. I think Boston's a very cool spot. It's very like
Stay off camera.
mellow, not too,
Don't have to. Which
I don't know, not too intimidating, but also like not too like formal.
Yeah,
And you know, you can just like sit and have a couple of drinks, have a nice fucking view. And then if it goes well, you go to a couple bars up the street on Second or whatever, or you go to Seal.
Jim just said first date at Disneyland.
That would be,
No.
that would be cute. Disneyland first date.
No.
That's cute.
Hey, Vanessa, don't be hanging out on a Pico date.
Pico
You're with a Pico dude. I worked with him at Super A. I know who he is.
Betty, give us your best place to be taken on a first date, and let's say a worst place.
Best. I don't know. I mean,
Motel 6.
I mean,
And worst, don't say like the porta potty at Coachella.
Yeah, you get herpes there.
Yeah.
so okay, I'll tell you one date that I have never forgotten. I went out with this guy a long time ago, but he picked me up early in the morning. We drove down to Rosarito, spent the whole day there, ate lobster, bought some fucking pies,
All for $10.
and drove all the way back. That was like the best time for me.
Now, see, I said morning dates were like good. I got shot down by you and somebody else. Like, who does a fucking morning daytime date?
Well,
The only reason I said that,
That's like 2.5 hours.
Well,
of
it
time
wasn't
to
a
talk
first
to
date.
people.
It was like our second or third date. But it was this was like 15 years ago, and I'll never forget that.
where is he now?
I don't know, married to
Happily
some fucking
married?
bitch, yeah.
He took her to Rosarito too, that
No, she was special. She went to Ensenada.
fucking asshole.
Further, they got
Welcome,
lobster.
The only reason I said that to you about
Yeah.
date dates
Why?
is because I was watching Just Friends, and he like harps on, don't ever take a girl on a date date, because that's a friend date. You take them on a night date.
Yeah, did he get laid
At the end, he did.
to Mila Kunis?
No. That's different.
Oh, wait, which
That's
one?
friends with benefits or
Yeah,
something.
wait, which one did you
Just
say?
friends with, what's his name? The tall dude.
Yeah, Ashton
Oh, that
Kutcher.
one tall guy.
Ashton Kutcher.
Deadpool.
Yeah, the Deadpool guy.
Oh, okay.
I think it was
Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds.
he's in that movie. Yeah.
I gotta go back and watch that. I don't remember. But no, dates can end up just fine.
Yeah.
Like-
Lunches are blowjobs automatic.
Lunchtime DJ. It happens.
They ordered the hot dog for lunch.
No, I've never had that for lunch, so I don't know
Hot
what
dog?
you guys are talking about.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you at all.
Yeah, it's cute.
Where was the worst date you've ever been on?
Worst date.
Gardens.
I
It's the worst and the best.
Never been taken there.
went in with one dude, left with another.
Last time I was
Rich.
there,
I got you.
drink and got me really fucked up. Worst date.
Did he roofie you?
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
So, I don't.
I think, okay, worst date.
Okay.
Guy took me out a long time ago, and when the bill came, he asked me to pay for half.
Well, that's not a place.
No, but that was like my worst experience on a date. Like, I've never had a bad, take me anywhere, I'll have a good fucking time.
Are you sad that the Holiday is closed down?
What?
The strip club place.
Just closed down?
Yeah, they broke. They
What? What?
I
You
like
ruined
that.
my world.
I like Dames and Games, I'm a fan.
Okay.
Go to Sam's after hours.
Ooh, the girls are thick there.
Yeah, they are.
Thick girls at
Ooh.
Sam's Hofbrook?
Yeah, they're
After
like
hours.
After
They're
hours.
like a slim thick though, you know?
No.
You don't know what a slim thick is?
I'll show you later.
Yeah.
Apparently I'll be educated on what a slim thick is. I guess, like, I was talking with my fiance, we were driving home. Thank you, sir.
You're
I
welcome.
think it was Stagecoach, actually. And she was like, I've never been to a strip club. I was like, oh, we should go. Like, are you okay with going? And she was like, yeah, I'm down. And then we were like, would you get a lap dance? I said, I would have no problem if she got one,
Yeah.
but I don't think I would. Not that I'd be embarrassed in front, like, oh no, I can't get one in front of her. I wouldn't want to leave her alone in the, like, general area of a strip club by herself.
Why?
Because of all the dicks that would be sitting around, like,
This girl must work
Trying to buy
here.
her.
yeah, yeah, it's like
I know,
dropping a dead fish
Hi, Aaron.
into a pool of piranha.
Yeah, I will. When you go to a strip club, if I go with a bunch of girls, the guys will buy us lap dances.
Yeah,
But they don't really hit. I don't think I've ever been hit on. At
a guy just spent $20 to $40 to get you a lap dance. You don't think you're getting hit on?
They like to watch.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, they like to watch.
I'm not a fan of strip clubs.
I don't like it. Yeah, it's not my thing, but you have to go.
I had a lot of fun at Rick's birthday party.
I didn't even
Games
go to
and
that.
games.
Oh, James game. I spent my 30th birthday there, or 31st birthday. I got a table.
My
Yeah.
wife had to pull back. She's like, "Hey, can you stop throwing like $40 at a time at the girls?"
Why do the girls know you by your first name?
I was like, "Babe, we gotta put these girls through college."
I was just there on my last birthday, my 30th in January. I went to my friend, gave me a whole stack of singles. I had a good time. Had a good time at strip club.
That doesn't.
No.
Well, I don't spend my money, so maybe that's
Well,
why.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to go there and spend my fucking
Hey, that's
money.
Rich, I think you'd have a great time at a strip club if you got to spend somebody else's money.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'd be down,
Well, I
but
have this guy, his name is Mr. Carter. He'll give you money.
All you gotta do is give them
like,
pop, pop that booty out every once in a while, dog.
I mean,
Rich, if you have to refer to anybody as Mr. Something, I think you're gonna.
he better be a fucking teacher.
I think you're gonna have to suck his dick.
Oh, no, I don't.
Is he gay?
I don't even kiss them.
Do you just do that all day?
Just
Just a little shake?
Like a bobblehead?
Yeah.
I meant to ask this earlier. Are you opposed to the 69 position?
no.
I got chewed out.
Yeah.
Like, not physically. That's probably when you talk
Yeah.
sex position, you probably should be.
I don't want preferences correctly.
I got really talked down to because I love 69. I think it's fun. Like, I could be the 6 or the 9.
I'm just an 8.
You just be 8. I like it.
Okay.
But everybody was like, oh, that's childish.
I never
that's
saw
so
that.
high-"
I didn't say it was childish.
No, you did not.
I said I liked it, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
At that time.
At that time.
Since that day, it's not been a while.
69's awesome, dude. You get to pleasure while being pleasured?
And
And if you like doing the pleasure?
oh, I like
True.
it. Like,
Sometimes it makes it a little difficult, I think, because if you're being pleasured that much, how do you concentrate on pleasuring somebody else?
Because I love to pleasure.
I
so-
don't care. Like you can,
So-
if you start to neglect me, that just makes me feel better. Like
she's
like yeah, like
But
you're
I-
getting
I-
distracted.
The key for me though is I have to be on bottom because I don't want to kill her.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I don't care. I could get on top. I've gotten on top and like positioned my feet on the wall to like hold myself straight out. I'm like planking. You remember planking?
I remember playing.
Okay.
I haven't done it in a while. But
Like
I
that.
remember.
What is that?
I actually love it on
I need to
feel
see
like I'm in
this.
control.
I need to see
I
this.
don't think it's great on
I
camera,
need to see this.
but
So for those of you
I
that
need to-
are listening, Kevin's about to take his shoes off.
I gotta take a
Would you like me to get underneath this?
If you'd like, I mean, we haven't tried this, but you know, you just
For whatever reason, chopsticks came out of his pockets.
you start like this, right?
Kevin
Oh.
is
You just like
in.
Oh.
Looks like he's doing push-ups off the wall with his
Right.
feet.
Oh, wait.
wait, that was one. Keep going.
I know you like this one. Well,
Some girl said, "What the fuck, Spider-Man?"
I've never seen anybody do that. Just
Yeah,
for
it's
69,
no. I mean,
I feel like I'd get tired.
right?
oh, for sure.
That looks
Listen,
like a
okay.
workout.
Yeah.
so. Hold on, let me go.
Look at his face. He's all turning red.
Vanessa said that's called the pussy pop.
So there's certain things that you do, like, or I guess, let me rephrase that.
That
There's
you do?
certain things that I'll do that I know I'm not going to last long doing. And it's not that I'm going to come. I'm just not that great of shape. So my fiance is not. She's not petite. Okay, she's about 5'7", 5'8".
Oh, she's tall.
Okay, and she's Hispanic.
What does that mean?
She's thick. So there's times where like
We're gonna let you talk.
Shoot.
She's watching, right?
Hey,
Comment on this one.
hey. I'm listening, bro. Go ahead.
So there's times where I'll pick her up,
Okay.
right, and I'm holding her, and I'm still inside her, and it's like you work while holding
While
her.
playing.
Yeah,
Next time, I love that. I love when guys pick me up. Pick me up, toss me around.
right.
You got quiet.
Okay. I know that muscular-wise, I can't do that for a long time.
Oh yeah.
It's like squatting. Like you can squat. After a while, your thighs get a little tired. They kind of burn a little bit. Like, you know, you start breathing heavy, and then after a while, you're exerting so much energy that you can't stay in formation.
Because the blood's got to go in the
It's
place.
got, yeah, no, you start breathing, and so it's like there's certain things that I do that are just fun for the
15 seconds.
15 seconds that you can do it. Feet on the wall, like thrusting downward.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not an hour-long process.
Wait, so you're thrusting in her mouth?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not
Are you-
going
are
down
you-
to the
Are you a
Nah,
teeth or no teeth guy?
no teeth.
Oh no, would you like?
It was a
me?
question.
Do you
Relax,
like teeth?
bro. I just questioned. Some girls are like it's fucking
Well-
from the copy shit.
There's
I
a,
don't mind a little bite every once in a while.
okay, so
A bite.
if you take it from
Not
the
a
side,
bite, but like
Like a
teeth,
nibble?
like
and
Like a little
Like,
nibble.
yeah, take it from the side a little.
Yeah.
You know, just give it a little like that ansias of wanting to like.
Okay.
Yeah, it's.
So she loves a dick.
I'm learning. I'm learning.
I mean, don't leave marks.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's when you know you probably like
Yeah.
too far,
Too
too
much.
far.
Do it again.
And then you're like, oh.
Oh, fuck.
Are you into the slapping?
I've been slapped a couple times.
I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Say my name, bitch.
Yeah.
What would you do if a guy? Okay, let me rephrase this. I'm sorry. At what point would it be okay for a guy to come to you and be like, "I have a sex swing. Are you down to try?" Because Richard has a sex swing. I haven't used it though. Yeah.
I mean, as long as I'm fucking you, I'm down for anything. Like, you want to throw a sex swing in there or whatever, let's do it.
I need to use that sex swing, dude.
Yeah,
It's,
you do. Have you
I
found
spent
the
like
right-
$80 on that shit. I
Have
never
you found
found
the
it.
right stud?
Yeah, no, you know, you just gotta put it on the door. It just like hooks on the door.
Don't do it on the front door.
Yeah.
That's the only place we put it, just as a joke. It was
Okay,
funny.
I got you. Would it bother you if you were sleeping with a new guy? That's it, and let's not say it's the first time. Let's say you guys have been fucking for a month.
Okay.
Okay. Not every day, but a couple times a weekend.
Okay.
And he has toys. Let's say there's a vibrator, some handcuffs. Does it bother you that those didn't come new in the package?
They haven't washed them.
Yeah. If there's white and flaky on it, that's a different story.
I mean, I don't think it would bother me that it's not new. As long as it's clean.
Right.
Clean, I'm all for it.
Okay. That cost me a lot of money.
Yeah, buy new stuff.
Well, I mean, everything. Everything that my fiance and I use is brand new. But some of that stuff.
As it
gets
should be,
expensive.
Kevin.
And some of it gets expensive though.
Well,
'Cause
do
there's
you,
a
guys,
lot.
do you guys like lingerie? Like, do you like to see your girl
Yes.
in lingerie?
And she's
Now-
had lingerie for 10 years.
Yes.
No.
If you had that lingerie before you, would you be okay with her wearing it?
No.
But how would they even know? You don't just pull the tags off when
It's
you
true.
wear it.
It's true.
No, I would not be okay.
Because you wear it for somebody else?
Correct. But that's why I will regularly buy lingerie and just say, wear that tonight.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, we got a romantic.
Yeah, you do a lot more than that. I just want to have
It's
sex.
okay,
But
babe.
I haven't.
But
Like,
that's because
Hold on, hold on. Turn the-
exactly.
He
I was,
has to
I was
Yeah,
about.
yes.
I was about to say
Yes,
that. Like,
he has
and-
to put in that work.
Turn the volume down, babe, for the next 2 minutes. Okay. The other thing too is like a lot of the stuff that I'll get, like the lingerie and stuff, eBay it.
Did you just say
relatively cheap. Like get some stockings, the whole like halter toppy things, and all of that. And you just first off, you can scroll through and just be like, oh, this will work, like, and then you just buy them new, and then yeah. So
I swear to you, once I get a girlfriend, I'm gonna have like a whole new segment. Like, okay, so what should I do next? What do I do?
How?
Is it too soon to put my thumb in her butt?
No.
Never, right?
Yeah, I would do that on the first date.
So
My dick's already there.
Yeah, my dick's already
Now wait, first date. So are you down to fuck on the first date? And if you do, can that turn into a relationship, or do you think like?
she doesn't listen to it.
Yeah, she doesn't our
Really?
podcast
I
now.
listen to it all the time.
We said you were a long time listener. You're a
I
sometime
am.
listener.
You guys have so many. I can't keep track of all the shit.
No, that's
you
cool.
talk about.
We talked about this. Like, could you be with somebody that you've had sex with on the first date? And I said, yeah. He said, no.
No.
And it's because I have. And then he responded with, well, where are they now? And I'm like, I hate you. Kind of wasn't me, bro.
Okay.
But I can. Like, I've looked up with people on the first date and I dated them. And then it didn't work out.
I don't think so.
Mine did. 14 years in counting. 13, I'm sorry.
But who could resist producer Rick?
Oh.
I couldn't. Like, not.
Never even hammer, dog.
That's it.
So have you ever fucked on the first date?
No.
Because you didn't want to, or because there wasn't a choice? Or there
No
wasn't-
one wants to fuck me.
Nobody wants to.
This guy's sad.
I've had sex on the first date plenty of times. I mean, it doesn't mean anything good or bad to me.
Yeah. Sometimes you go on a date knowing it's not going to go past this date. You just fuck the first
But like sometimes, but
Look at all you guys with dates and shit. This
That's-
show. God damn it.
That's different though. I
Hate
mean, when
this
you know
shit.
it's just the fuck, it's just the fuck. But when you go
You
on a
just go on
date,
a date first.
He just fucking
Wait,
shit.
let's make this formal. Let's go eat
Make
first.
this sad.
We know
that's
what
actually
we're
a
doing.
good. That's okay. So if you guys are fuck buddies, do you still need to take somebody out? Like, do you still need to take them out? Like, why? Like, do you like if that? If so, you know
No,
you're just
fuck
gonna
buddy
fuck
is different.
But
Because
fuck
fuck
buddy,
buddy,
you're just fucking them. Like,
well,
But you said first
I'm
date,
gonna
though.
use his
You
words.
said first
My
date.
dick on deck.
okay.
We go out. He'll take me to dinner, and then that happens out there.
like you know what you're gonna do after.
But
You're
there
like,
are
hey,
times
this
where
is-
I'm like, hey, I'm down the street. I'm gonna go over.
I'm a little tipsy. Your dick better be hard when I get there.
Yeah. Go in the
Be
restroom. slap
fucking
her.
ready.
Cause I got another date at 12 midnight, motherfucker. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've
No,
had
they.
those situations.
So what happened last week was
Look at all you guys with your problems and your first dates and sex. Hate all of you guys.
nothing.
Now, I will tell you, the last guy I dated, we hooked up on the first date, and he kind of questioned it afterwards. Like, do you do that with everybody? Like, is this something you do? Like, are
Did
you
you-
fucking complaining now? Because you weren't complaining when it fucking happened.
And yeah, motherfucker, I'm like.
Did you give him a percentage like 26%?
You're on the fucking list. Like,
That's it. It happens.
What's up, La Leezy Breezy?
Who's that?
Rochelle.
Oh, right now.
Do we want to roll through 20 more questions with her real quick?
We're not even done with like what everything we want to talk
I know
about.
that.
I think we should just keep going, dude.
Go for it.
So Cardi B, talk about that. I want to hear your point of view on this.
So there was a story that came out recently of Cardi B, and I know that.
It was a couple weeks ago.
I'm sorry, was that not recent?
Not really.
Really?
Well, in the day and age,
Like
of
compared to the 23 million years that it took for the world to evolve, the last 2 weeks has been the long part of that.
it might have been as long as Cardi B's been around. I don't know.
It's possible. I don't think so, but recently the story came out that Cardi B admitted to drugging and robbing guys while she was a stripper. As a woman, I'd like to get your perspective on the story, and what are your thoughts on her reasoning for it, being that she did what she had to do to get by?
so I don't agree with that. I mean, she was a stripper, and these guys are paying for pussy.
No, strippers don't get pussies. Escorts and hookers do.
Wait, so how?
According to Robert Kraft, he has to
So,
pay
He never
them.
got pussy. He's got a rubbing tub.
wait a minute. So then my question is, how would she would be alone with these guys to
The assumption is that she would like be.
She said something, I believe, allegedly, from what I read, that she would often take them back to their hotel.
So then she, yeah. So
But
then
she
she was paying. They were paying for pussy.
At least to see it, minimum.
I've never been to a strip club, but I hear there's a VIP room.
That's
Me
possible too.
alone.
That's possible too.
I don't think that goes down in the VIP room though. I think people are getting drugged in there. I haven't seen any of that happen. But what she was doing is wrong. I mean, you don't take advantage of a person. It's one thing to pay for pussy and
That's illegal too,
it's
right?
illegal too. So then that goes to why nobody ever complained about it, because what guy's gonna be like, I was paying for this and they drugged me and stole
What?
my money.
What if you came too fast and like you paid for an hour and you only came in like 15 minutes?
You only get the 3 minutes. I mean, allegedly.
Yes.
Marcos Torres said, "What's up, Rick?"
What's up, fucker?
I don't see why people aren't making a bigger deal about it.
And that's
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I feel like that's like it's a huge fucking issue.
Because
like,
no guy's gonna be like, yeah, I was robbed too.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no guy's gonna say that because they're paying for the pussy.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never been there. Rick, did you listen, buddy?
Did Cardi take you for anything, bro?
Can't believe the holidays closed, bro.
You know, and that's the thing is, I don't know if the holiday's going to reopen, but it is demolished, and I'm hoping that they're going to reopen it.
I'm super glad. I hope they get new carpet. She don't even know the joke. She's laughing.
She listened.
What is the
You
place
would if you
off of
listened.
Telegraph? What's that one place off of Telegraph in Commerce?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Telegraphing.
It's a ghetto ass strip club.
Oh,
Like right before the casino.
yeah. I'm not going to admit that I know what it is, but
But it's super ghetto.
yeah, I think so.
I think I know.
A lot of bikers hang out there.
It's a strip club?
Yeah.
I think I know.
Oasis.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the only thing I can go.
Like.
Did you guys get new carpet?
Is that Mark?
Yeah.
Is that Mark?
What I don't know is, I know we made the comparison to Bill Cosby.
I did. I felt like it was very similar
And
in the
yeah.
actions.
I don't think so at all.
I don't think
Those
it's similar.
girls were not paying to get dicked down by Bill Cosby.
That's a good
No, but they're trying to get on the show. They're drinking with him for a reason.
They're
So-
drinking to get raped?
No, it's not what I said. Don't put words in my mouth.
Carter did.
I think that they're trying to oh, I'll go hang out with you.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're trying to be like, oh, it could be my sugar daddy in your terms.
Or to get into the show business.
Same thing.
Yeah.
They were,
Looking
Yeah.
for something more than what it was. Yeah.
so this dude's like, oh, so do it the easy way. Well, fucking Cardi B was drugging them the same way. Like I felt like
But drugging them and taking their money. Like, they're
Yeah.
already paying you, bitch. They're already giving you money.
I get it.
That's
Bill
not
Cosby's
enough.
way more wrong, but at the Cardi B's stupid wrong.
So, Bill Cosby, had he only been a Harvey Weinstein, I don't think he would have been in as much trouble.
Because they're so young though.
Because
Because
what
he was
Harvey
drugging.
Weinstein was doing was using his position of power to take advantage of somebody.
Yeah.
And what I think did Bill Cosby in was that a lot of the people he took advantage of were not necessarily people who were looking to come up or get something in return from him. They were just kind of people that were there. He just used his power to take advantage of, for lack of a better term, let's say innocent people. Whereas Cardi B was using her position to drug people and take
Innocent
their
people.
money.
But
Innocent people.
Weinstein was not drugging.
He wasn't drugging, but I made the comparison with Weinstein because he was utilizing his power over people
And she
who were
was using her power, which is pussy.
still willing
Yeah.
to compromise
Pussy
to
is
get.
And all these
Yeah.
broads are like, hey, you give me this part, I'm gonna give you this pussy.
And they wanted something in return. They were willing to do whatever to get a role. Whereas Bill Cosby was using drugs against people who were wanting a role, but then also the hairstylist for the Cosby Show. Not that I know that was her.
Yeah, just random.
People who
yeah,
were not
everybody.
necessarily looking for the come up from Bill.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where Cardi B gets put into more of like the Harvey Weinstein category in your mind. And I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but that's how I'm interpreting it, is that
I wanna
you
see
don't
where it's
necessarily
like-
feel, no, yeah,
That was rude though. I didn't want to say that out loud.
Anybody?
Cardi B was taking advantage of people, but people who were looking for
Straight
something in return from her.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I still don't understand why there isn't more of a backlash.
Or like,
I
agree.
agree. I agree. I agree. Totally agree.
And I don't know if it's because she doesn't care, but at some point you have to ask yourself, like, when will it matter? Like, and from my reading of the story is, I never heard her say,
Sorry.
yes, yeah, that
No,
was
I
messed up."
think she apologized. I think.
The story that I read said, I lived a hard life, I did what I had to do, right or wrong, I made my choices, and that's
But I
life.
think it's because nobody came forward that it wasn't an issue. Like, what man's gonna come forward and be like, yeah, I was paying for this, and she drugged me, and she took my shit.
But she
But she
admitted
fucked me
it
first.
herself. And I think that's what's weird, like, she admitted it, like, I don't want to say
You said she got
proudly.
privately recorded though, right?
No, I didn't say that,
Oh.
but that
She
made it.
recorded on like her IG live or some shit. Like she
Oh,
recorded herself like she
She's an
did
idiot
it.
then.
Do you
So
think?
she came out and said it.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
She said she drug men and took and robbed them. She did what she had to do because of like where she grew up or whatever.
So, I don't know. To me, it's in a society where people want equality, women want equality. Why isn't she being punished with the same level of equality that a man would?
Because no one's coming forward to complain. I think if
and
there
nobody
were
got
people-
raped.
If there were guys, the men that she took advantage of, if they came forward, I think it would be an issue. But she's just admitting like, fuck, I fucked up, I did this, whatever, I'm sorry. No one's coming forward.
Interesting.
But it is grand theft if you think about it.
Grant that.
I don't know how many people she did it to, but as long as it goes over $5,000, it's grand theft, right?
All the money, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what Grand Theft is.
It's like over
I just played Grand
2,000.
Theft Auto.
I think the bigger issue is like she's drugging people.
Yeah.
Like if I
And not even giving them a pussy.
well,
You don't know that. She
Yeah.
could have given the pussy first
Don't.
while she was drugging him.
Yeah.
Do you
we
guys
don't
think that
know.
Cardi B is good looking?
No.
I don't think she's good looking.
No.
And her fucking voice, dude.
She's so ghetto. I love her. She's a ghetto bitch, but she's no. She's not.
Marco wrote Cardi B stole my EBD card.
Hey, you shouldn't have written your pin on the back of it. You should.
Dude, so I told Marco, so there's another podcast. I know there's another podcast in this world. Crazy, right?
Right?
By Tony Hinchcliffe. He's a actor, and he does a podcast called Kill Tony Hinchcliffe. And what he does is he does it different comedy shows, and he pulls random names out of a hat, and he gives comedians unknown comedians 60 seconds to perform on his podcast and in front of a live crowd. And I told Marco he should fucking do that. He should follow them. I think, dude, you guys all know Marco's a fun dude.
He's good. Yeah. He's enough to be podcast funny.
Well, he's really not podcast funny, honestly, because we're way funnier than him, but he has better bits than us.
Yeah.
But I think you do a good job. I think he could put together 60 seconds of good quality fucking material and shine but he's being a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go.
And it's a lot of times 60 seconds is way more than what Marco needs.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he's a big vagina. Yeah, you're right.
What do you want?
Rick, you've been on the show for like an hour now, but only in the background. Like you're the mysterious voice in the background.
But everybody who knows me knows my voice.
Oh, he wants to know how his bracket's doing.
So recently we put up a Gatorade, was it Sweet 16 bracket?
No, it was 32 teams.
Was it 32? We went on 32.
No, it was 16.
No. What the fuck? Why would you get like that?
Oh.
Like randomly for absolutely no reason.
I was very adamant about it too.
Yeah.
I was
It was like 32. It was, okay. This week was who? Riptide Rush against Orange.
Dude, that was a way closer matchup than I thought it'd be.
Really?
I thought Riptide Rush was gonna run away with that fucking
Have
one.
you been voting for our
I am
Gatorade
not a
challenge?
Gatorade drinker, so
You
no.
can still
So
vote for it.
Riptide,
But how am I
Help me
gonna
with-
vote?
help me with fruit punch. Just help throughout this thing. When you see fruit punch, just go.
Okay, I'll vote.
Riptide Rush only won by 3 votes, dude.
I actually voted on this one too.
Yeah, I saw it. And then Orange beat Fierce Melon, but it was actually closer than I thought.
Really?
Yeah, a little closer. 70% to 30.
What about the classic lemon lime?
That's in the next round already.
Yeah, I see.
You obviously didn't.
Thanks for.
I don't know how to do this whole thing. I'm not
You
really
just go on Instagram and
technology
vote.
savvy. So.
You mean the
So-
app?
So we have two
What
more.
app?
We have 2 more to go to until we go into the Elite 8.
Okay.
And Marco, remember
He did a vote. He did
he
a full
submitted
bracket.
a bracket. So like
He did a
if
full
any of you guys
bracket.
ever played like March Madness and you submit brackets and shit, like Marco he filled it out, hand wrote it, and fucking took a picture and sent it to us. And so far he's 100% correct. He hasn't got one wrong. But
Uh-oh.
there's still a lot more to go.
So, what are this week's matchups?
I wish you would have told me you were asking that.
I told you during our break.
You did?
Yeah,
When?
when we were talking about what
During
we-
our break.
You can see we're a very professional show. We keep this
Ice Punch versus
The producer's trying to get that.
Glacier
How
Cherry
old is this?
and Blue Cherry versus Arctic Blitz.
thing. Okay.
Those are the next 2.
Very millennial flavors this week, I feel.
I didn't know there were so many flavors.
There's a lot. There's actually over 100.
What? Really?
Yeah,
Gatorade.
yeah. I was gonna go 32, but I thought that would be too many.
No, yeah. I think the sweet. Are you okay, Rick?
I didn't want to pinch your cord.
He likes when you pinch
Or your wiener.
Sometimes my job on the show is like to keep things on the rails.
Can't control me, motherfucker.
Sometimes it just goes completely off the rails to the point where I have no idea what we're doing. I have no idea how I'm earning my paycheck here.
So we're either gonna go 21 questions or we're gonna have to take a break.
We're doing 21 questions.
Alright, cool.
Unless you want to take a break. What would you like to do?
No, it's fine. 21 questions. Yeah, we can end this.
Does our producer have an issue with going 21 questions?
No, we're good. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Betty Girl, we're going to run through 21 questions with you here.
Okay.
Answer them as quickly as possible.
Okay.
No need to think into them any more than you have to.
Have you heard these?
I don't think so.
Well, let's
She
see.
obviously
I do listen.
doesn't listen to the end.
I do. I probably don't because I.
If I could change my answers for 20 questions, I would.
Listen, I put my kids to sleep at 8:30, so if you're on after 8:30, I'm not listening.
Makes sense.
Oh,
So,
fucking nerves.
21 questions. Are you ready?
No, I'm ready.
Okay. Question number 1. Do you want more kids?
Yes.
Question number 2. Do you enjoy anal?
Sometimes.
Have you ever
I feel
sharded?
like we answered all these questions.
No.
Never sharded.
No.
Liar.
Never.
Lies.
Lies.
Maybe after anal.
Okay, that
Have
counts.
you ever charged?
You get the anal farts where you like sit down and you push.
Is that similar to the
How do I close it?
It's even worse when they finish in your anus.
Who does it?
That's so
Right?
bad.
How many?
If you're doing it, why not?
Yeah, like why would
Because
you
you
want
don't
to?
get pregnant.
You always stick to the big A. Anal.
Why would you not finish? We need to talk.
That's
with
not a
that
question
person.
for me. That's
Yeah, no, we need to talk with that person.
Oh.
It's like walking on a it's like walking to Disneyland right as you get to the front gate, like catching a bus home. I don't know. What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear?
Mm-hmm. Besides anal sharks.
Sharks?
Maybe ending up alone with just a single mother.
What's wrong with that? If you are
That's 21 plus 1.
There you
yeah.
go, yeah. We're going into it.
Okay. What's your favorite fast food place?
Fuck, there's so many I love Tommy.
Not for anal.
Not for anal.
Favorite
Or
chick-
after, I guess, right?
No,
Oh,
after's
after.
not bad. After's not bad.
Yeah.
From what I've
Whatever
heard.
runs right through you.
From what
Or
I've heard. Favorite chick flick?
50 First Dates.
I like that one.
I love it.
Yeah. Dream vacation destination?
Greece.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah. It's a lot of mountains.
That, yeah.
Okay. Favorite drink?
Like alcoholic drink or just drink?
Whatever your heart desires.
Like vodka.
Do you dream in color?
I'm gonna say I don't dream. When I'm a big stoner, and if I smoke before I go to sleep, I do not dream.
I can tell you this right now. 213-90026 WSLA. Love that answer. Because he's a big ass stoner.
Chicken or steak?
Steak,
Soup or salad?
salad.
Favorite position?
Oh, being on top of things.
Question 12A.
Of course.
On top, facing face to face?
Yes,
Or
face-to-face.
facing away?
No, I gotta.
Reverse
Yeah.
cowgirl.
I gotta be able to choke you.
Ooh.
Your hands aren't big enough to choke you.
I know.
She never
Or
said
long
hands.
enough.
That's true.
Just stuff that face in there and that's
True.
Suffocate
That's
this motherfucker.
it. Right? See, they don't think like we think.
And if I was kind of sick and only had one nostril working, I'd be dead in like seconds.
That's it. So if you bring a snorkel.
Yeah.
You sleep with her. Be able to breathe her.
I'm gonna bring my sleep apnea device.
Would you rather fart in an elevator or fall in public?
Fart in the elevator.
Before or after tummies.
Disneyland or California Adventure?
California Adventure.
Why?
Because that's
So it's
alcohol.
beer, yeah. Shaved or all natural? And by the way, you guys don't sneak alcohol into enough places, but go ahead. Shaved or all natural?
So I don't shave. I sugar. It's a lot better.
Sugar.
So they have this.
Question 15A.
What's sugar?
Way back to that one.
And can you show
It's
us?
this ball. It's this ball of sugar and honey. So they like rub it in their hands. They rub the ball and they put like rub it against your skin.
Rick, rub my ball.
And they rip it off,
Oh, so it's like waxing.
but better.
Okay, because the honey and it's natural antibiotic.
Yes.
I have this.
Is it vegan?
So it's sugar.
I'm sure
So
it
it's
is.
Technically, no.
Sugar and honey.
Honey.
So
Honey.
it's bald.
No,
Wait,
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 it's not
stop.
vegan.
Why
Stop.
is the honey vegan?
Because it's from an animal.
It's from an animal.
Oh.
Do not fuck with me
No.
on honey.
You love honey.
I love real honey.
Mm.
That's what I
Fuck the
mean.
fake honey manufacturers in this company. Half the time you're being sold corn syrup. I get passionate
Oh, I
about
can tell.
true raw honey. I have bead. I get passionate about honey. Don't.
Okay.
All right, honey.
Okay. Question 16. This is word association. What comes to mind when I say masturbate?
Every day.
Okay. Would you rather outgrow your jeans or go bald?
Oh shit! I'll grow my jeans.
Would you rather?
Really?
I'm sorry. Did you have a 17A? Okay. Question 18. Would you rather barf or get the squirts?
Get the squirts.
Because that means you're dead animal.
I already drank too much the night before.
Yes. 19. Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
20. Would you rather have a shitty job or shitty relationship?
Shitty job.
Sometimes a shitty job and a shitty relationship. Question 21. You have to give up one of these for a year. Would you rather give up your phone, sex, or bathing?
Oh shit. Phone, sex, or bathing. I'm gonna say phone.
Those are the 21 questions.
You went through the gauntlet. How was your first experience with the podcast?
It was amazing.
Yeah? You gonna come back?
I will.
It was fun.
Very few
Right.
women say that we were amazing, so we'll write this one down.
We should use that as a soundbite. I was amazing. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Had fun.
Thank you so much for joining us. We seriously want you to come back.
I will.
We have a few more topics we didn't get
We
to.
don't want you to be a one-night stand with us.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Not with
I
me.
appreciate
I've been there, done that. It's not fun.
that.
So thank you so much for joining us. We will certainly have you back. Ladies and gentlemen, please check us out on iTunes.
Yeah, we're on
I
iTunes.
said it, I meant it podcast.
Spotify.
We should probably throw that in a few more times throughout the next show. Like,
I'm gonna post it on our IG.
That'll
Saying
work.
that with the post of this or whatever. So
That'll work.
Joey's on too. Hi, Joey.
Do
So
you
Joey-
want to give your Instagram, though I would probably assume 90% of the people who listen to this show already know your Instagram or contact information. If you'd like to give it, feel free.
Well, Paul's a new fan, huh?
If not, we will certainly have you back on the show and watch our ratings jump up double D the numbers that we have.
Double D.
double D the numbers.
All right, everybody, take care. Peace.
Don't say anything dumb yet, right?
I pointed at you.
I know, what a dickhead.
Oh, I was saying, bro.